Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another video. I'm Jamie Michelle, Master Mindset Coach and Energy Expert, and today is Wednesday, April 1st, 2020. I'm coming at you today with a video all about how to overcome your fears about failure, as requested by you, as usual, on my Instagram stories. So I took a poll last week asking, just so you have the background, asking which fear is holding you back more from going after your dreams. The fear of not making it and taking the risk, risking everything you have, leaving the life that you're at right now and going for everything that you wanted, but then you fail, you don't get it, and then thereby the consequence is you not only don't get what you wanted, but you've lost everything that you left behind to get this thing. So now you're like, you got nothing. Or the other one was, it is just so out of this world, unrealistic, the dream that I have, that like it's fun to dream about, but there's no way that it's ever going to happen. Meaning you actually don't believe that there's any chance or any possibility that you could actually make your dreams come true. Overwhelmingly, every single person said the first one. If I leave where I am now to go for what I want and I never get it, then I end up not only with something that I had before, and I'm left with nothing. I lost it all. It's just like not worth the risk of me. Sorry, this hair has been driving me crazy all day. It's not worth the risk of me going after it if there's no certainty that like I won't have like anything at the end of the day. So in this video, I'm going to explain A, why you have that fear, and B, how you can overcome it using obviously spiritual methods and mindset tips and techniques that I use with my clients and with myself anytime that I'm going to the next level, either in my business or my spiritual development or my relationships or whatever it might be. Here's what we have to understand before I even get into this is any time that we're going to the next level in any phase of our life, these fears are going to come up. Now, I've talked a lot about the different types of fears that we have as humans. They are all survival based. Think about it. If you have this fear that you're not going to go after your dreams because you're afraid that if you do and you don't make it, the fear of failure, that you're going to end up with nothing, meaning you're going to have nothing to live off of. You're going to have nothing that you started from because you've left it behind, you've risked it all, you have nothing left. That's a survival fear. It's a fear based on uncertainty. All of fears that end up running our lives are based on this fact of the unknown. I'm not absolutely positive. And a little bit like that means that this fear that I'm talking about actually does kind of tie into the other one of like not believing that it's actually fully possible. The good news is that if you do believe that it's somewhat possible, then you're more likely to be afraid, well, what if I go for it and then I lose everything? So you're already over the hump of like believing that it's a little bit possible. That's truly all you need to get started. But as you go on this path, and I can speak from experience, being an entrepreneur, starting my own business, leaving a life that I completely had behind and starting a completely new one, it is terrifying because you don't know like what every day is going to bring. You don't. But I can tell you with 100% certainty that that is far better than staying where I was. So this fear of like losing it all, first of all, is it's an unfounded fear. It's unrealistic. It's an illusion. I've talked about these fears before, as I was saying, in podcasts, on my radio show, Permission to Thrive, probably in other videos. They're all based on survival. The fear of failure, the fear of abandonment, the fear of rejection, the fear of success, the fear of, it's all about like these primal instincts that our ego has based off of our human evolution. So at one point we needed to be, united in a tribe-like group, our family, AKA. And if we weren't, if we somehow got like cast away or rejected or left on our own, we would undoubtedly die of starvation, of being eaten by a tiger, whatever. because we were alone. There was no one else to like protect us. You know, we traveled in tribes. So these fears, they're part of our animalistic brain that we absolutely need them, but 99.999% of the time, it's going to make up lies and false fears that you end up believing in, because it just, the unknown to that part of your brain means danger equals death. Anything that's unknown, this thing that you want to go after, your dream. Let's say you have a dream. I work with athletes. Let's say you're a high school football player that has a dream of being the starting quarterback for, I don't know, let's say, I don't want to be biased, so I'm not going to say the Steelers. Let's say like the LA Rams, if they're still the LA Rams when you're watching this video. They seem to jump around a lot. Let's say you have this dream of being the starting QB for LA Rams, you know, and you want to be the MVP and win the Super Bowl. Not just once, but like over and over and over again. Like you want to be a Tom Brady type QB, you know? You want that. But there are going to be so many fears that come up that tell you that you are not, there's no way, because it's so uncertain. Like this dream that we have, if you're a high school football player, I don't even know if this pseudo football player plays the position of quarterback. Maybe he's a receiver, you know, could be anything. It is so far off in the future to be that kind of a accomplished, you know, well-recognized, trophied, awarded player, you know, highly accoladed. What is the word that I'm looking for? Do you know what I'm saying? It's not like immediately right in your face, like so certain that that's the next step. There are a lot of steps in between. You have to go from the high school, then you have to go to play, you know, usually a D1 level at college. You have to make it through that, and then you have to get drafted, and then you have to prove yourself. Like there are a lot of steps each and every season that you have to go through. If you're not even playing QB, you better get in that position, you know, soon, if that's what you want to, if that's what you envision for yourself. There are so many uncertainties. Do you see what I'm saying? From where you are now as a high school football player to becoming, you know, the Tom Brady of the LA Rams in, let's say, the year 2040. Like who knows, you know? That's a long time away, but it's this dream that you have. So if that's your dream, it's not going to feel like it's absolutely certain that you're going to get there. You don't know what next year is going to bring. You don't know if you're going to get injured. You don't know if you're going to get a scholarship to play at a D1 level. You don't know if you're going to then, you know, make it through there uninjured and be like redshirted. There are so many variables. And then drafted, and then if something like this happens where like everything's on pause and you're not even playing, like then what? You know, there are so many uncertainties. The ego is going to tell you that unknown is so dangerous, it's so unsafe that you may as well just like not even go for it, because you're gonna die. It sounds, when you say it out loud, it's like, but I wouldn't die. But to your ego, it doesn't know the difference. A perceived threat, any perceived threat, means death to that part of our brain. Unknown fear, the fear of the unknown, of not knowing that something is absolutely certain, is a threat to our survival in terms of our ego's function. That's just the way the human brain's wired. So knowing that, then you can then take a more objective, or actually subjective, view and make up your own certainties as you go along. You have to find the certainty in knowing that you are so capable. Like there is no condition. And so let's take this off of like football for a minute and just apply it to life, apply it to whatever dream you might have. If you want to leave the job that you have, if you hate the job that you're at, if you're so unhappy, if you hate waking up every day and going into work, that was my life for a long time. And I knew with all of my being, if you know that you are not meant to do that job, but you are making a stable income, you are able to provide for your family or for yourself and like have the somewhat comfortable lifestyle that you want, you know, put your kids through school, support your wife, support your family, support your parents if that's the position that you're in. But it's coming from this place of like, I literally cannot stand waking up every day and going into the office and like being with the people that I work with and doing what I do. It's just not fulfilling. And I would do anything to just either go back to school or apply for this other job or just like start my own business. But that is so uncertain. And you don't know where your next paycheck is going to then come from. So you're like, well, I can't leave this like stable source of income that's providing for my family and then not know when my next paycheck and where my next meal is coming from. Like, I can't do that to my family. I understand that fear. I understand that rationalization. This is where your faith has to come in. This is where the development of your personal development, your commitment to yourself and your spiritual transformation and your evolution as a human is so critical. It's so critical. You have to have, first of all, the confidence in yourself to know that it is possible. That's like the first fear that I was talking about. You have to know that it's possible. If you believe that it's possible, then you can go like step by step by step. It doesn't all happen overnight. You're not going to have all the answers all at once. It just doesn't work that way. God requires us to have faith every step of the way without knowing what's coming next. That's the part of discomfort that we all go through in terms of transformation. It's the thing that I was talking about in my IGTV that didn't turn out so great the other day. I should have just left it on my stories. I'm so sorry about the formatting, but that video is on here on YouTube if you want to watch that. It's what I talk about. It's that place of discomfort where we are going to the next level, but we don't yet know what that next level is. So like if you have a dream, let's say of like, I don't know, becoming a chiropractor, but you're an accountant and you don't have any of like the qualifications, but you have this like dream, like I'm just meant to adjust people and help people like heal holistically, whatever way that you want to be healing people. You have none of the qualifications. You have none of the education, but you just know that that's what you're supposed to do. You have to be so focused and see so clearly the end result and believe that it's actually real. And that's what gets you through. That's what gets you through that like uncomfortable part where you don't know, like, I don't know, am I going to get into med school for this or whatever, chiropractor school? I don't know if there's actually a word for it. And I don't know why that popped into my head because I have no knowledge about it whatsoever. But like, take my personal story, for example. There were so many steps to get to where I am right now that like I can't even explain. And if you know my background at all, then you're a little bit familiar, but let me just like walk you through it because we never know where it's going to lead to. We never know. I have known my whole entire life that I wanted to just help people live a better life. Like I've known that for forever. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. And for, when I was going through college, I have my undergraduate degrees in accounting. Because I remember when I applied to college and I was like, well, I'm just going to do like business. Like that's what my dad did. I'm really good at math. I'll just do accounting like he did. He's super successful. And I did. And I was really good at it. Numbers come really easy to me. I got hired. I got an internship and hired right out of college. Like before I even graduated, I was like set, with a great Big Four accounting firm. Great coworkers. It was like the dream, right? I was miserable though. Like, I can't even explain how dreadful it felt waking up every day. Like it was, and this is when like my eating disorder started. Cause like I needed something that I knew that I could like, at least I was certain about this one thing. At least I was certain I was going to starve myself that day. Cause I was not happy in any other area, So I was at that job for a couple of years, hated it. So I was like, all right, well, there's gotta be like, I'm young. There's gotta be something better, right? I go back to school, I get my MBA. Eating disorder like reaches a peak there. There are peaks and valleys with the eating disorder story, but it's always like an underlying thing because I was never really happy. So I go through this arduous, like really, really tough MBA program at the University of Pittsburgh, Katz School of Business. If you are an alum, holla. And right after that, I got hired again by the same Big Four accounting firm in a different role. I thought, okay, I want to help people. human resources. It's such a natural fit. It makes so much sense. I'll just like, and I want to talk to people. I want to be a recruiter. It just sounds so fun. I was a recruiter, and you know how much I loved it. 0. I hated it. And this is when like the background of my like fitness and health journey like really started to kick in, because I was like, the only thing that I knew for certain was that I was going to work out that day, B, like eat super, super healthy. And if I ate, anything at all, it was, but I like that's when things about fitness and health and wellness like started to really, it became an obsession and fueled my eating disorder, but it was all for a purpose. Like I had to go through all of that crap, all of the pain of my eating disorder, all of my traumas, like even the things that weren't associated with my professional life, the things that were going on with my relationships and my body image and my exercise addiction, they all played a part in shaping me into become the person that I am today. Like none of it really, like when you look back, you can put the pieces together. But do you see what I'm saying? It's all so uncertain. So then I'm working for this accounting firm, again, in a different role. And then my wheels start turning and I say, okay, well, the one thing I know for sure that I'm passionate about is fitness and health. So I go back to school again. I get my master's in science in my MSc in fitness and wellness coaching. And I knew from that point that I was going to start my own business. It was like a no freaking question. I could not work for anyone else. Like I had to be my own boss, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to help women. This is what it was in that moment, and I wanted to help them be healthier and live a fit lifestyle. While I'm doing this though, the eating disorder really hits its peak, and all the trauma in my life, it like comes crashing down. And I was living in Fort Lauderdale for 1 year out of those several. And I had that horrible traumatic experience. All of these things are so uncertain. They're all so uncertain. I ended up moving back home to Pittsburgh. None of it really made sense, but you have to follow where God is leading you. You have to trust and know that like wherever you're going, it might not feel amazing in the moment. It might feel like hell sometimes. And in fact, it will. But if you have your vision so clear, and sometimes my vision wasn't even that clear, but I just knew that I had to make it to the next day and that eventually it would all make sense, So I moved back home to Pittsburgh. I'm trying to start my like fitness training business as a trainer, but my eating disorder and my PTSD is getting so out of control. My body's gaining so much weight that I like crashed and burned physically, mentally, emotionally, that everything just like had to sit. And that's when I started working as a health coach for actually a chiropractor. No wonder where that came from. But do you see how like that made no sense? It made no sense. I actually went to him for help because I didn't know what the hell was going on with my body. And I thought maybe he could like figure it out. And he did tell me the one thing that ended up saving my life was stop working out so much, because my stress, my cortisol levels were off the charts. I didn't know I had PTSD then. So I had to stop working out for 6 months. It didn't make sense. None of this fit together. None of this, like all of these things that I'm telling you would ever make you believe that this girl's going to be a mindset coach for professional athletes and sports teams. What? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But looking back, it's like, that's why I had to go through that. That's why I had to go through that. That's why I have that education. That's why I have that background. All the while, I was raised in a home, in a family that is like obsessed with sports. And my dad is a sports encyclopedia, and he can rattle off stats from like 1932. It's like ridiculous, but that's like in my blood. I've always been a big sports person. So, and into fitness, like it just fits. I understand the human body. I understand the games. I understand what the athletes have to go through. And I understand what it's like to overcome something so freaking, it feels like it's so impossible. But it is possible. You just have to stay focused on the vision. And do you see how every step of the way, I thought I wanted to do one thing, but it evolved. As I evolved, my vision evolved. The same thing is going to be true for you. Whatever your dream is for you right now, all you have to do is take one step towards that direction. Maybe you don't quit your job and like not have any income. Maybe you just start going to like class at night, take night classes, start educating yourself in your free time. In the time that we're in today, with all of the time and space that we have right now in our world, with everything being on pause, now is the time for you to be like, okay, I can actually figure out a way. And once you get committed, once you commit to just taking one step, the next step is going to be revealed to you. It's not an all at once thing. We have to stay so focused and believe with all of our being that there is something better. There is something so much more, and you know that you were created for more. I've said this so many times. You are not meant to live this life in a state of misery, of suffering, of pain, of anxiety, of stress, of overwhelm. You're not. We are created to thrive and enjoy life and be abundant and overflow with happiness, health, wealth, love, all of the things that we want. That's just the truth. Sorry, my hair is really, really driving me crazy today. But if you can focus on what I'm saying, all of the pieces don't ever make sense when they're happening. And sometimes it feels like you're going to take a massive back step. Like I've come so far and then boom, economy collapse, or boom, coronavirus, or boom, PTSD, your body gains 60 pounds like almost overnight, it feels like. What the hell? All of this work for, like, there are going to be moments where your faith is going to be so tested. Persevere. It's all happening to build you into the person that you asked to be. Because once we have the vision and once we commit to it, God is like, all right, if that's what you want, I'm going to make you into the person and shape you into the person that can have and hold on to and keep that thing that you want. Because it's one thing, like overnight success is great and everything, but if you aren't created to, if you aren't used to it, if you aren't built to be the person that has that much success, you are going to lose it, and just as fast as you had it. That's why there are so many, like, you know, people who go whoop overnight and then crash and burn because they're not used to it. They don't know how to handle it. But God, if you follow his lead, if you follow the universe's signs and the path that it guides you to, there are no coincidences. There are none. So I could so easily look back at my life and be like, man, why the hell did I spend so much money on schooling when what I'm doing like doesn't even need a degree? That might be true, but I would not have the education that I needed to run my own business. I would not have the education about the human body, the physiology, the biology, the chemistry, all of the things that I need to know about how the muscles fire and how, you know, strength and performance actually work. I would not have been led to the people that I needed to meet in order to become this version of myself who's actually doing this. Like, all of those things have to happen. They all have to happen. So the uncertainty, it's always going to be there. It's always going to be there. You have to choose between whether or not you're willing to feel, I say this all the time, temporary discomfort in the uncertainty, or it's temporary. It's not going to last forever until you get to the next level, or a lifetime of misery, of not knowing, like regretting, what if I had just taken the chance on myself? What if I had actually like done what I really wanted to do, you know? Like that, and going to a job every day that you hate, that does not make you a better person. It makes you resentful. It makes you angry. It makes you spiteful, you know? It fills you up with all of these like traumatic emotions, toxic emotions, and thoughts about the world that actually make your life harder. It does. If you stay in a place that you're not meant to be in, God and the universe, whatever you pray to, is going to send you signs all day long saying, redirect, this is not meant for you. And so it's going to feel very, very, very hard and sticky and tough. So you will never lose everything if you follow the path that God is leading you to. And it always is going to be illuminated. You will be like, it is amazing, because when I started this journey, I wasn't spiritual. I always had a connection to God, and Jesus, but I never, like, I didn't know that I was being guided at the time. Like, there just aren't words to explain it. Like, going back to get my MBA, like, how was that being guided? I just like didn't want to be working where I was working anymore. So I was like, all right, well, if I get another degree, I'll be more valuable as an employee. I still wanted to work for someone else. You know, it wasn't until later that I knew that I couldn't be an employee anymore. I had to just be my own boss and create my own schedule. You know, it's like we're always being guided even when we don't think we are. We can look back and be like, oh my God. Like, I guarantee you there's something in your life that you can look back at from where you are now and be like, that's why I had to go through that. If you put the dots together, if you connect the dots. Like, it is so obvious that every single thing in our lives had a purpose, a very significant purpose. This is where I talk about forgiveness all the time, you know, forgiving others, forgiving external circumstances, forgiving yourself, because literally every single thing that's happened to you, for you, every single thing that's happened in your life that you've experienced, that you've lived through, every person, every place, every situation, every triumph, every victory, every failure, mistake, relationship, all happened for you to build you into the person that you are meant to become, to have the dream that's on your heart. Nothing is a coincidence. Nothing. So this fear that you have of really, like, if I go for it, if I really truly go for it, I'm just gonna, like, what if I never make it and I lose everything? First of all, unknowingly, whether you know it or not, you're actually already kind of on your way to it. So whatever you have right now, you have to be willing to let go of what's weighing you down to get to the next level. Like, you can't take what's anchoring you here and go up. It just won't work. It's your anchor. You have to be willing to let it go, shed those old identities, shed those layers, and rise to the occasion. And it's not a straight uphill thing. It's gonna look more like this: up, way down, up a little bit, down a little, you know, plateau, up. It's not a straight line. It just isn't. But every single one of us was placed on this planet with a divine mission, and that divine mission, that purpose, is right now currently on your heart as your deepest desire. God would not put it there if it were not possible. I say this all the time, but what we have to understand is, if there is a human desire for something, it must exist. It absolutely must. All possibilities exist. So, like, oh gosh, I'm about to go into a little bit of a energetic quantum physics topic. So stick with me for just a second. But all versions of reality, every single possibility that you can think of in the universe exists right now in this moment. It's been proven in quantum physics. I'm not going to explain why I know it. I just know it. There is a version of me in one reality where I'm still working for that Big Four accounting firm. There is a version of reality where I'm still a recruiter. There is a version of reality where I'm still working in Fort Lauderdale as a fitness instructor, you know, trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to do, you know? All of those versions, if I would have just stayed where I was, like, that version of me exists in an alternate universe, parallel, that's happening, coinciding with the one that we live in right now. And I know that's trippy, and I didn't want to throw that at you because it's a lot to digest, but maybe I'll do another video on that if you have interest. So let me know below if you have interest in that concept and if you want me to explain it more. Whatever we choose for ourselves, that's the universe that we're going to live in. So, like, had I chosen not to recover from my body image, anorexia, exercise addiction, there is a version of reality of that consequence, meaning me not being alive. Like, there is a universe that exists where I didn't make it. And that's like a morbid thought, but it's actually true. And so that gives us, like, so much gratitude then, right? Knowing that we are exactly where we are meant to be in this exact moment in time. Like, there's nowhere else that you're supposed to be right now. You're exactly where you're meant to be in terms of your life circumstances, in terms of your physical location, in terms of your body, in terms of your age, your health. Everything is perfect. The perfect conditions for you to become and fulfill that dream that you have for yourself. So bringing it back to, let's say, the high school football player who wants to become, why can't I think of the Rams quarterback? Kurt. Why can't I think of his name? Kirk. I don't know. My mom loved him. He was on Dancing with the Stars. I don't know why. I can't think of his name. It's driving me crazy. It's been driving me crazy this whole half hour. Anyways, let's take it back to if you were that high school football player who wanted to become the MVP, multiple, Super Bowl champion quarterback of the Los Angeles Rams. Right now, let's say you're like a sophomore in high school. What is the next step if you want to become that? If that's like in the vision that you hold true in your mind, God will give you the next step, which will probably be starting on varsity as a junior in the quarterback position, or bringing you an amazing quarterback coach that's going to shape you into that quarterback that's going to get you into a D1 college, or the mindset coach, self-plug, self-promotion for energy and performance to make you become a better athlete so that you can leave all the excuses behind and really fulfill the life that you want to live and become the player that you want to become. All of these things are going to be sent directly to you. You don't have to do a thing, but hold the vision of being that LA Ram quarterback, MVP, multiple Super Bowl champion in your mind, and know that it's possible, and stay committed. And knowing that no matter what, even if you have a setback, even if you get injured, even if you, get concussed over and over and over again, it's all for a purpose. And you're going to have exactly what you're meant to have. And you must believe, and you must be able to see it and actually feel it as if it's real now. Play like that quarterback, I would tell him to play every game right now as if he already was that multiple Super Bowl champion MVP for the LA Rams. That's how you show up to practice. That's how you show up to games. That's how you lead your team. That's how you show up to workouts. That's how you show up to camp, like that person. And that's how it comes to you. That's how it literally, you don't happen. It doesn't what am I trying to say? You bring everything to you by just holding that vision and operating from that place now. So the underlying message of all of this is if you have a dream and you're not living it, you have to get so clear on asking yourself, what does that version of myself, if I were to do it, how does he or she think about himself? How does he or she think about life and how the world works? What is his faith like? What is her daily routine like? What are her relationships like? Everything. How does she show up for life? How does he show up every day as his best self? Just doing those things alone and becoming that person, it can't not happen to you, but you have to be willing. You have to be willing to let go of those things that you think are keeping you secure and safe right now. Because here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to drop a bomb on you right now. Everything that you think is keeping you safe and secure and in this place of contentment, which is actually misery right now, can be taken away at any moment. And might be if you aren't fulfilling your purpose, because somehow God's got to get the message to you that yo, Joe, I don't know why I said that name. This isn't for you. I'm taking it away so that you can go and do something else. Because that's what ends up happening. We get comfortable with where we're at, but then we always are miserable with not ever having done the things we actually wanted to do. We have to get used to the discomfort of not knowing where the next thing is going to come from, because you're always provided for. God gives you everything that you need. So knowing that those fears, those survival fears, are going to come into play. You're gonna feel the fear of abandonment. You're gonna feel the fear of rejection. You're gonna feel the fear of failure. They're all gonna always show up every time you advance to the next level. But you have to remind yourself that you're not going to die. You're not gonna die. You're not gonna, go from having what you have now to having absolutely nothing. That's just not possible. Unless the conversation that you're having in your head is telling you that is what you're choosing. You have to actually consciously or unconsciously be choosing that, because everything is a choice. Everything is a decision. So knowing that, all you have to do right now in this moment is decide that you are who you want to be. You live the life of your dreams now. It's just a decision. It's just a decision. I am not yet to the destination. There is no destination, but I am not yet to the level that I want to be at in terms of so many things, you know? But I sure as hell show up every day like I am her. That's how it happens. And yeah, you're going to be tested. You're not going to feel amazing every day. You're not going to feel confident every day. It is all happening for you. It's all happening for you. We have to be willing to let go of the old identities, of the old beliefs, of the old places, of the old relationships, of the toxic people, the toxic emotions, the toxic thoughts that are keeping us stuck where we're at, that we hate. And we have to be willing and able to adopt new beliefs and new thoughts about ourselves and new mindsets and new laws of how the world works and new places and new people and new relationships and a new version of you. I say this all the time, but like, this is why I ask before I work with anyone. One of the very first questions I ask is, are you willing to completely abandon everything you thought you knew? Are you willing to forget everything you thought you knew? Are you willing to change your mind about literally everything? If you're not willing, it's never going to happen. I don't work with people who say no to that, because I can't do this for you. You are the one. You are the creator of your own reality. I can guide you. I can give you all the tools in the world. But if you don't apply them, if you don't use them, if you don't actually like try this for yourself and like try envisioning it and try seeing yourself living that life and like actually feeling what it might feel like to like put the shoes on of that person every day and like live that life, like put your Rolex on or whatever you envision yourself driving, your Maserati. I don't know what that version of you looks like. Only you do. But you have to be able to see it. Like, just try it, just envision it and feel it as if it's like happening to you right now. Like, let this reality fall away and put yourself in the reality of the one that you want to live in. This is done in a meditative process, obviously. I do this for myself every single day. Like, envision yourself just doing the things that you think you would be doing. And I guarantee you one day you'll be like, oh my God, that thing that I just envisioned for like 15 years, I just did, like it just happened. That's how it happens. That's how it happens. The thoughts and the visions that we have are not put there by like us, our human ego. They're put there by God. That's what I mean. They're not there just for like shits and giggles to entertain you in your free time. They're not. They're actually like meant for you. Like, that's actually who you are. There are no coincidences. So understanding all of this that I just told you, I just want to summarize everything in a nice, neat little bow so that you can kind of start practicing this today and know that you will not, the only way, let me just say this, the only way that you will lose everything is if you never go for what you want. If you don't believe that you're worth having that thing or that you can do it, you're going to start to create the story in your head that you don't deserve to have anything, or you're not worth anything, or you can't hold on to anything, and you will lose it. And let's just like paint it out, play out the scene for a minute. Let's say that you're miserable and you hate your job. That makes you a miserable person. No one wants to be married to a miserable person. Your wife divorces you. Your kids hate you. This is like a morbid scenario, because all you do is you work, and all you were trying to do is be a good provider for your family, but it made you so sour and it made you so miserable that no one could stand being around you. So your wife leaves you, your wife gets full custody of your kids, you never see your family, your house gets taken away. Like that's obviously like worst case scenario, and that's never going to happen unless that's the story that you're playing out in your head. Flip the script and be willing to just for a minute give your dreams a chance, because the ultimate goal in all of life is happiness. All we all want to do is feel happy and loved and experience all of the things like vibrancy and abundance. And we just all, at the end of the day, it's all about being happy and living a fulfilling life. And if you stay where you are right now, that's miserable, you're not like, there's such a disconnect, and you're actually choosing that, you know? So you may as well just take the risk, because you have nothing to, you're going to gain so much more than you could ever possibly lose. Like, the things that you're going to lose are things that you had to lose that were not serving you. The things that you're going to lose are the self-doubts, are the negative thoughts about yourself, are the self-sabotaging behaviors, are the toxic relationships, are the people that have made you feel like crap all of the time, are the habits that you were engaging in that were making you an unhealthier, sad, angry person. And you're going to exchange them out for higher, better, happier experiences, people, places, things, thoughts, beliefs, attitudes. That's how this works. The only things that you're going to lose are things that you were never meant to have in the first place. Oh man, I could talk about this for hours, dude. There are so many fears that you're going to feel. There are so many, but just know this. If you have a dream, you are meant to live it out. And it sounds ridiculous because you might say like, well, I have this huge dream. And here's the thing, because people ask this all the time. Like let's say that I am a 5 foot, 98 pound, 38-year-old male who wants to be like a D lineman in the NFL. That might be a dream, but how natural does that feel? Like, does that feel like it's actually because the way that things happen, the way that we create our own reality, they happen at the exact rate, like the time that it takes for things to come into our experience and to become the person that we want to become is directly related, directly proportional to how natural it feels for us. Does that make sense? So like for me, it feels so natural to become a motivational speaker and an author and all of the things that I see for myself. Like it's just the natural next step. Like it can't, there's no way that that's not going to happen. But for the other situation, like let's say I wanted to be the D lineman, does that feel natural? No. I love working with athletes. I love coaching athletes, but I don't want to play that position in the NFL and get hit no, it doesn't feel natural at all. So it's never going to happen. So people ask that all the time. If I have this dream of being like XYZ, well, how natural does that actually feel for you? Does that actually feel right? And if the answer is a little bit no, then that's your answer. It has to be something that you actually desire with all of your being and you can see yourself doing. And it feels like you know that it's just something that you're meant to do and you can't explain why. And then eventually you'll be led to all the things that are going to shape you into that thing. It's wild how this stuff works. But once you experience it, it is addictive. It is addictive. You won't ever go back, but you won't ever want to go back. So please don't let those fears, those survival ego-based fears of, losing everything that you might have or losing love, or they're not real, they're not true. They're not going to happen. You have to believe. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in God. You have to believe in your abilities. You have to trust that everything is happening for you and that you are going to be led to the dream that you have. And honestly, if you stay committed, 10 times more, 10 times better than you ever could have envisioned for yourself. Faith is the key ingredient to everything. Trust and faith. Do not ever waver. Don't waver. Don't settle for a mediocre life because you are actually meant to be extraordinary. Everything that you envision for yourself, everything that you dream about is possible. Remember what I said, it wouldn't be a desire if it didn't exist. There would be no desire for something that didn't exist. It just doesn't even make sense. You wouldn't know about it at all. Your soul wouldn't know about it. Your subconscious mind wouldn't know about it. So it wouldn't even be a desire. Does that make sense? So if this video is helpful for you, please share it with someone you love. Share it with someone you think needs to hear this message. Stay so committed to your evolution. You are going to be amazing and unstoppable if you put into practice all of the things that I've said and you apply what I've said to you today. And go back and watch some of my other videos too. I know I have quite a few now, and I plan on doing this, once a week, for as long as you want me to, for as long as makes sense, So share this video with someone you love, share it with someone you think needs to hear this message. Go ahead, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down if you liked or didn't like this video. Leave me a message, send me a DM on Instagram, and subscribe, because I'm gonna be releasing videos once a week here from now on. All right, I hope you're having an amazing week. It's April 1st. Hang in there. We're almost through all of this BS that's going around. I'm not even gonna say it. I'm here for you in any way. Connect with me over on Instagram. That's where I spend all of my time, on the IG stories, Insta stories, and the DMs, you know, all over the place over there. So it's at Jamie Michelle 11 instead of the double L's. I'll put it in the description below, and I will catch you next week. Bye for now.